going to make about the previous situation. When I got stuck in jail and got through trouble here in Santa Barbara, it was because, well, let me give you this thing. I, on April 1st, right around, I think it was April 1st, called the Harbor Patrol and reported the person that basically frauded me out of $50,000, reported them for threatening my life.
Okay.
The Harbor Patrol and the police came. They disregarded my report. Okay, now, then about the next day or so, I was taken to a mental institute. And for 7-8 days put on a 5150. Now, while that was happening, the captain of the Harbor Patrol issued a report reporting suspicion of elder financial abuse. And it sent it to who?
Who?
The Adult Protective Services.
Oh.
What do they do when they get potential elder abuse? Now, you know what elder abuse
Someone
is.
was taking advantage of your money.
Yes, they stole it. I was mentally incapacitated. It's against the law.
So did they
There's a law
investigate
against
it?
that. Oh, they found out that I was out of town in Hawaii. By the way, I left town in fear of my life because nobody's doing anything about this.
Boy.
Okay, and also in fear of my slip because they were threatening to take it away because of my behavior, because nobody was doing anything about this. And so I called back in May when I got back, and the lady said, well, I called, they told me you weren't here, so I just dropped the case. So what happens with a dropped case? So even if she hadn't dropped the case, when she did see me, what did she do? She goes and buys me $20 worth of food because I had no cash. But she doesn't do anything to report to the police that a felony crime has been committed. Oh, and by the way, while this is going on, the person that had committed the crime had contacted the lawyer who had advised them to get a restraining order against me. And so now all of a sudden, I'm the criminal with the restraining order. And then they used the restraining order, by the way, when after the harbor moved me right away from them to like falsely claim that I exposed myself, and then they put me in jail ultimately for 2.5 months while the courts had to determine my sanity, which you ultimately validated. But see, it's like that was no justice. It's the justice was supposed to be blind. By the way, I've documented it, emails and everything. The justice was supposed to be blind, deaf and dumb. Just because the girl was pretty, okay, just because she was pregnant, doesn't mean I was lying. Doesn't mean she wasn't potentially a criminal. Anyway, that's really not either here nor that. Actually, I gave her a free electric acoustic guitar yesterday through a boyfriend so I wouldn't get violated. And actually, I accidentally saw her today and it said hi, but then I went like that. And I think she was like almost ready to say that's okay.
Okay.
I don't really care about that. That's sort of the history. And actually, in my movie, it's perfect. Because you couldn't just have a guy buy the world and say, okay, here you go, here's the world. No, you had to have a little conflict, Hollywood style, your little stuff, learning plan. Because see, this is the thing. As soon as I do this in my head, I said, okay, so what is our reality about? If we're entering the age of light and enlightenment, and the last 2,000 years, what's that been? It's been training. And so it's like this is a time where we learn about ourselves. See, I have a plan for all the criminals. I plan to redeem every criminal on earth. And I told him in the beginning, Osama bin Laden is the beginning. I must be able to buy out Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda and retire him on a desert island. There's no profit in a world with a lot of loose nukes. And you tell me, in 2005, what would have been cheaper? Buy Osama or try to find him and go through Iran and Iraq? And anyway, that's a short and long story, right? Anyway, but so you get to this point and you say, okay, so what are we at? We're at a point where we say, we learn. Because everything we do is now gone, it's canceled. I basically eliminated lawyers. I eliminated technicians, because if we have technology that doesn't work right, like customer service people, we're going to spank the engineers. I eliminated processes that we don't need. And so we did. Now, shrinks we'll have them. But I'm sending you guys back to school, and let's count to sanity, and let's count to what the right drugs are, and the drug companies, by the way, they're working for the people, and the only way they're going to measure the profits is through the people in the bottom line of the enterprise, right? And so we're not going to get one guy fighting out for another drug. There's only one best practice at any given time, right? Now there may be variables to that, but there's only one best practice.
Well,
I mean, in the business that way, that's the way it is, right? And it's the same way, I think, in each case, you go through a series of logical things. I don't want to say it entirely, but a computer could do much of a shrink's job, other than the intuitive part.
well, were you able to get more Depakote at Costco?
Oh yeah, I got it. Oh, wait a minute.
I put in the 400 for you.
No. I run a 6 month supply, so I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. That's
The
right.
one you've called in for me,
That's for
that's
when-
my next one.
Got it.
So
Okay.
when I get down to my last bottle of my current prescription, I'll be fine. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But I'll ask you the question. I asked these three questions to my first shrink. What would it be worth to prove the existence of God?
You know, I usually try to stay away from religious topics because it's a very
Oh, I know. He
personal
just nodded,
thing,
and,
you
and,
know.
and by the way, I know the typical answer is like, yeah, okay, oh, okay. So I asked him that. I asked him, what if I had insider information of worldly proportions and was playing 40 moves in advance of the world? Now, obviously, he's going to nod, and both of those are going to seem like grandiose questions, right? I know I didn't know bipolar then, but I certainly know grandiose bipolar now. And then I said, what if I had a way to create 999 years of peace and justice on earth? Obviously, grandiose, but etc. So, but the point is, has anybody ever tried to prove the existence of God?
I don't know.
Yeah. They used to do that lots in the Renaissance. They were like, I don't know whether it was Schopenhauer or like Descartes. I think therefore I am. No, I went beyond Descartes. See, Descartes was about your last guy. It's we think, therefore we are. And so, see, so the thing is, there were people who tried to prove it. Now, how do you prove the existence of God?
I don't know.
Well, I do. Okay? Simply one thing. You prove irrevocably a true plan from God that is self-evidently, obviously, a result of God. It is a manifestation of God, the plan itself. And in fact, if you know, in religion, there is a religion that sort of came out of the Shiite version of Islam. It's called bEYE. And basically they predict that a human will arrive on earth that will become a manifestation of God on earth. Now imagine this, again, of course this is grandiose too, but imagine that a person could become Da Vinci. Now, if Da Vinci was sitting in front of you right now, probably not you because I think you're a smart guy, but I've seen some shrinks where if Da Vinci was sitting in front of him, well, it would be hard pressed to really, well, I don't think even the best would be hard pressed to differentiate between Da Vinci and a wacko.
Well, Bill,
It's okay.
I give you this just so at some point we can check the Depakote level since you went from 2 to 4.
I just recently checked them, but yeah.
I think when you checked it last time, you were only taking 2. Now
Right.
you're taking 4 a day.
I need more.
And this is just one little test. It's not all those tests that you just did. So,
Oh, it is. What else do those other tests tell you? Do I have a vitamin D deficiency still? Last time they told me the only thing they said was I had vitamin.
Everything looked really good. This was from, January 7th, 2015. It says 14. But
So, I trust you.
Didn't
So,
you go last month?
yeah, it was last month. So you haven't even got my new tests in.
You know,
I went at least 3 or 4 weeks because I know I wanted to give you guys plenty of time for your paperwork to arrive across the street.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up again right now and print it out. Tell me do you take the four Depakote, do you take them all at night?
All at night, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
So, at one point, between our now and our next appointment, if you have time,
I'll take the blood.
You could go in the morning, and probably
Right.
as soon as they open, get the blood test. It'll just
I know.
one test, not all the others.
I know how to do it. Let me ask you this. Well, actually,
I'm listening. I'm just gonna
once
pull
they
up the
start
blood
sucking your blood, I think they suck all the same amount of blood, whatever
Well,
number.
they used probably 5 or 6 tubes last time. This will be just one.
No, they did 5 or 6. I always close my eyes. I don't look.
For all those other tests, there were at least 4
Oh
or
God,
5
I never
vials.
look.
This
Oh
is
my
just
blood.
One.
So let me ask you a question. If you took that blood test there and you plugged it into a computer, could that be able to predict if I had other problems like cancer or other things?
It might be something.
Or maybe I should have stretched the question to say, if you took a full panel, if you were missing like some that would have predicted. That's what I'm saying. Is there?
Well, yeah, there's certain things that if they're abnormal, then it would warrant a further workup or investigation in certain areas. But your results were so good that
I know, and the only reason I ask is I don't bother. I haven't bothered to take physicals. I was thinking of doing it this year, but you know, I've had them, but they just like don't do anything. You know, they like listen to you breathe and you know, take your blood, which you're already doing as a shrink. And so, anyway, that's why I sort of asked that question.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to find more automated ways. I mean, okay, so if we start looking at our medical practice and we start worrying not about the dollars, because all the doctors going to get like, they're at the top of the food chain, they get lots of money, but they should be managing for volume. And we should be making it so that the doctors aren't doing unnecessary work that nurses could do. But like, imagine that you could have, like, you could literally have everybody connected like health kits, where you like had the monitoring almost real time to people.
So these results are absolutely fabulous. Here, I think.
Oops, wait a minute.
You know, that may be wrong, because LD stands for last dose.
Right.
And here, look, she wrote 1/6/14. That's not right.
Should have been 15.
A year ago. It should have been 15.
Right.
Because yeah, this is when they were done.
Right.
And
that's humans. That's what humans do.
Right.
Make mistakes.
So electrolytes are all good. Kidney function is all good. Blood sugar is normal. Liver is all normal. This is related to diabetes, blood sugar. It's all normal.
That's good.
The lipid panel, you know, this is normal. This is normal. This is, I guess, a little high.
My cholesterol.
Anything.
I like to eat
over,
like cheesy stuff.
Anything over 200 is a little high.
Okay, so I like to bring down my cholesterol.
And
I'm going for Chinese.
Thyroid is normal. And you know,
valproic acid.
The Depakote.
Oh, that's the extra ingredient.
So that one was 39.
What's it supposed to be at?
Well, really, the ranges were developed for people taking it for epilepsy, not for bipolar.
Yeah, that was my next question. Why does it say epilepsy?
I know. It's one of those meds where it's used for bipolar as well as epilepsy. So we go by basically how you're doing, rather than the number specifically. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. So if I was to look at lithium, would lithium say it's for something else, or would lithium say it's for bipolar?
Lithium's one of those where it would say it's for bipolar, because you can't use that for epilepsy. But Tegretol is also used for epilepsy, but then started to be
Okay,
used.
so are there any others that are just bipolar?
Now this at one point when you were in the hospital, your Depakote level was way up here.
No, why would that have been?
Probably because you were manic and the dose got increased. And
Well, it just started it too.
They said, you know, well, this is 2012.
Right.
For mania, 50 to 125. But again,
What's that measure?
That's the level. That's this one, 39. It's just the Depakote level.
So this is still a Depakote measurement.
Right. And
Okay.
so
That's not a subjective measure of somebody. Okay.
no, that's a
Right.
yeah.
Got it.
This is a range. So here you were,
103.
very. It was
But
very
I'd already
high.
started it in the jail. I'd started it for a
Here
week
it was
in jail.
76, which is pretty good. This was in 2013. I'll bet that now since you're taking.
That was when
4
you saw me between visits. Okay.
Well, I think now that you're taking 4 a day instead of 2.
It'll probably go back up.
It'll probably go up because this was when you were taking 2 a day.
Right.
That's why I ordered again because now you're taking 4 a day.
Okay, so
it's probably a little higher.
so let's logically think this through.
Yeah.
If I was to take 4 a day, and we've already seen my range has gone from a high of 103, okay, to a low right here of 39. We haven't seen a lower. Then
Yeah.
even this doubles. That's at 80.
And that's
okay,
fine,
so and that's fine. So yeah. So I'm not going to take the blood, but just sort of intuitively, it sort of makes sense that 2 should be like.
You would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think William, last time, did you tell me last time, 2 weeks ago, that you sold the state of California to Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No. You don't understand. No. What
'Cause
in
I
my
was
story?
thinking, okay,
Okay. No.
come on,
That
William
makes
really
sense.
believes
No,
that.
in my story, it's very, very simple. Okay. I was playing terrorist, sort of a comedy, but I was also serious. I sent emails to buy virtually every company on earth to the investor relations, from Motorola to Apple to Microsoft to
Is this in a
Sony.
movie?
No, this is reality.
Oh, really? Okay.
March 5th to 6th. This is a 10-year anniversary. Now, on March 11th at 11:30 at night, I sent Arnold an email to buy the state of California. Why?
With how much money?
I didn't need any money. I was going to own all the companies.
Well, you must have been pretty manic.
But actually, here was the thing. It was really more a shot across the bow, because I was going to have Arnold go tell him all nations are canceled. He was going to be my Terminator. Okay? He was going to go to George and tell George, guess what? California's just been bought. We're going capitalist. We're merging with China and India. You can come with us or without us. Anyway, that was my movie, my story, but it could have been. But anyway, but the point is this. Think about this as a business proposition. So let's say you bought a big, see, I was thinking of like, I'm going to build a technology enterprise, like 10 times Google, which at the time was 100 billion. So it's a trillion. Well, then I thought, my first plan was, where am I going to put it? Well, I don't want to put it